everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I am going to be teaching you all about variables in C# and Unity. So this is going to be part 2 to my coding series of C# and Unity, and we're going to be learning about variables, and I'm going to cover most of the variable data types, but bools deserve to be in its own video, so we're not going to do that right now because bools are kind of tricky. But yeah, we're going to learn all about variables. So we have some lines of code here. We have a debug.log. There is a man named Bob. Bob is 16 years old. Bob is 3.8 meters tall. And Bob has a B in mathematics in school. And basically, Bob is mentioned a lot of times in our code. And let's say we have a lot of code, like pages and pages of code. And Bob's mentioned a lot of times. We don't want to, let's see if you want to change his name. Let's change him to Steve. Well, we're going to have to change his name a lot of times. We're going to have to go through every single line of code and change him to Steve. And we don't want to do that. So that's where variables come in. Now, variables basically just store data. And the type of data we want to store is the name of our character, which is going to be Bob. Now, the data type we're going to be using is string. And string is very useful because it stores multiple letters. So it's basically like words. To make a string, we do string and then the name of our variable. So let's just call it character name equals, and then in quotes, because we're going to be doing like the name, we're going to do Bob. And we're going to do that. And now, to implement this in our code, we're going to delete Bob. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do plus character name. So basically, it is taking anything in these quotes plus the variable character name, and it is adding it together to be all just together when it prints out. So if we save this, open up this, you can see there's a man named Bob. And now this is it should have said the same thing, but it didn't because there is no space here. Now to fix that is pretty simple. You just put a space. So you have to remember to put a space. If you're doing what I'm doing, put a space after this so that there is a space in the quotes so that it works. And you can see it works just the same because Bob is our variable. Now, this gets really cool fast, alright? So, let's change everywhere that Bob is mentioned to character name. So, plus and finally so now you can see everywhere Bob is mentioned, it has been changed into character name. So now it should print out pretty much the same other lines of code, but with a variable. So basically what is happening, it is being like, oh, there's a variable called Bob, let's store him. And then everywhere character name is called, it is going to see what character name equals, and it is Bob, so then it's going to put Bob in its place. And yeah, so right here it looks the exact same. Now, right here, if we just wanted to change his name to Steve, we can change it to Steve. Save it, go into Unity, and run it, and you can see where it was Bob is now Steve. There's a man named Steve. Steve is 16 years old. Steve is 3.8 meters tall, and Steve has a B in mathematics. So you can see you can literally change many. So let's say Bob is mentioned a lot of times, and you want to change his name to Steve. Just type in Steve, and It will change everywhere Bob is mentioned to Steve. So now we're gonna get into another variable type, and the next one is gonna be int. And int is just short for integer. An integer holds whole numbers. So 16 is a whole number, but 3.8 is not. So let's say we wanted to store 16 in the int age. To do this, we're just gonna create a new variable, int age equals, let's do 16. So that means his age is gonna be 16. And we're just gonna implement this like how we implemented the character name variable. We're gonna change anywhere that 16 is mentioned. I'm just gonna we're gonna do age. I forgot to do plus. Alright, so age is now here. So now we implemented age, and let's see if it works. Now I probably forgot some spacing, but that's not like that's not the integer's fault. Yeah, you can see I forgot the spaces. That's fine. We just do space, and it should fix it. Yep. So now it says Steve is 16 years old, and now that we've implemented it, we can change his age anytime we want. So he could be 90 years old if he wanted it to be. And now if we go in here, you can see his age is now 90. So yeah, that's the power of variables. So let's say his age and name are mentioned a lot of times. Change it with the ease of one line of code. I'm just gonna keep the 16. And now I like to call it the integer's cousin, which is float. Now the int can only hold whole numbers. The float can hold decimals and whole numbers with decimals. So let's say we want to hold his height in a variable called height as a float. So we're going to create it like any other variable. Float height equals 3.8. So now we're just going to implement it like how we implemented the int age. Oops. And we're just gonna do plus, kind of annoying. And then we can do height. So now his height, oh, we got an error. Oh yeah, I forgot. How did I forget this? When you're doing floats and decimal numbers, you have to put F at the end of it. I'm not really sure. I guess it just stands for float. But if you're doing decimal numbers, you have to put F at the end of it. So, yeah, don't forget that. I mean, I even forgot it, so you do forget it, like, when you're later on in coding, but, now you can see we have no errors. We can start it, and you can see 3.8 meters tall. We can change this to, like, say 4.5. And 4.5. So we have covered string, int, and float. And now the final one we're going to cover in this video is char. And char just stands for character. Now, let's say we want to store this B grade in a variable called grade. And we can do this with char. Now, we could store this in a string, but if you just want to be more efficient, you can store it as a char. And a char is just a single character. It's a single letter, whatever. So let's just make char grade equals, and for some reason, I don't know why, you use these. You're just gonna put that character in, and then semicolon. I'm not sure why you do that, but I guess it's to tell the difference between a string and a char. But now we have no errors, and we can just implement this. And just do grade. Now you can see. Oops, forgot the spaces. Alright. And we now have B. So we could change this to A. And it'd make no difference, it'd just show A. So it would show, instead of B, it would show A. See? So now we have converted all of our code to take in variables so that it is really easy to change what it says. So let's say we want to do a whole different person. Let's do, I don't know, like Amanda. And her age is going to be 32. Height, 2, 3. And she has a... And I'm not going to be mean, I'll just put D. So now, we can completely change what the code says. Oh, got to do this. Woman. My bad. So there is a woman named Amanda. Amanda is 32 years old, Amanda is 3.2 meters tall, and Amanda has a D in mathematics at school. So, we just literally changed all of our code basically on using plain variables. Now, to briefly go over bool, I know I said I wouldn't do bools this video, but to briefly go over it, it is just true or false. So, like, let's say you make a bool, is, I don't know, like, is happy equals, and then you can either put false or true. So let's just do true. And then all we do is just plus true, or no, not plus true, plus is happy. And then it would print out true because is happy is true. I forgot to stop playing this, so now I have to redo this. So you can see it says there's a woman named Amanda true because we put the bool is happy. So if we change it to false, it would print out false. It's briefly bools. We'll go over in another video because it's really complicated. But yeah, that it's not really complicated, but it's just like deserves to be in another video. So thank you guys for watching, and that is variables.